Welcome to That's Good Sports, Broncos versus Chiefs prediction episode. I am Brandon. Why am I wasting my time trying to figure out if the Broncos have a goat's testicles in a starving man's hands chance in hell at winning this game, Perna? Starving men devour goat testicles like Chiefs fans devour barbecue. Goat testicles are also what Patrick Mahomes has instead of vocal cords, which the NFL should see as a PED and ban him from the league. Today, I'll predict this game, spoiler, does not look great for the Broncos, by breaking down each position group and awarding the better a point. Most points get the win in this episode. That's good. Halloween sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you give a shit about anything anymore. And if you can guess my Halloween costume at the beginning of the episode, you win nothing. It was guy in a coat that's too big for him. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek! So if you're looking for football tickets, sports tickets, concert tickets, comedy tickets, use my promo code That's Good, and you will save $20 off your very first ticket purchase at SeatGeek. There is a link in the description to get you to SeatGeek. And why would you use SeatGeek, you might be asking? Is it because Brandon Perna is telling me to do so? Yes. But also SeatGeek ranks their ticket prices. Green means you're getting a good deal. Red means you're getting a bad deal. They scour the internet to bring you the best ticket options for your event, and you can preview your seat before you purchase. That's why I do it. Again, promo code That's Good, link, description. Now the Chiefs may get a half point for home field advantage, but the Broncos have stability in chaos. Demaryius Thomas trade rumors, Chad Kelly arrest, Chad Kelly getting cut, the ownership situation going up in flames this week, and injuries, Royce Freeman, Deshaun Hamilton, Shane Ray, Darian Stewart, Jared Valdir, and oh fuck, Von Miller pops up on the injury report. That is the ultimate recipe for upset. Chaos. Andy Reid versus Vanny Joey. Let's not kid ourselves here, okay? Andy Reid is twice the coach Vance Joseph is. He's also twice the man Vance Joseph is. Not necessarily in terms of character, but in terms of sheer surface area. Besides blue cheese, ranch, and Thousand Island, Andy Reid's favorite kind of dressing is window dressing. And he does a lot of it on offense by monitoring and shifting receivers before the snap. A, because that tells you whether the defense is playing man or zone coverage, and B, because it really fucks with your opponent's heads. If Bill Musgrave called the exact same plays he's already calling, but added 2 to 3 motions every time and 7 jet sweeps per game, he'd be an offensive genius receiving mile-high praise across the country. But he's not. Full point for Andy Reid. Chiefs offensive line and RBs versus Broncos front 7 dudes. Kareem in my Hunt's ketchup bottle had a slow start to the season until he went off against the Broncos and put up 121 yards and averaged 6.4 yards per carry. Since then, he's been on a tear. A little over 80 yards per game on the ground, but he's cranked out 105 and 55 receiving yards in each of the last 2 weeks with 3 receiving touchdowns. The Broncos' front 7 and ability to stop the run has only been successful when playing shitty offensive lines this season. Now we know Mitchell Schwartz has Von Miller's number, 58. I guess we all have it, but still hasn't given up a sack to Miller since November of 2016. However, the Chiefs are without their only official doctor/player, guard, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who played next to Schwartz. Andrew Wiley, who fills in for Dr. Tardif, is not very good, and Chiefs center Mitch Morse is out with an injury. Translation, the Chiefs might be shitty on the offensive line this weekend. This is a mismatch for Derek Wolfe, Domata Peko, and Shelby Harris to exploit, and could open the door for Von Miller to get that sack. The injuries on the line actually give the Broncos a slight advantage here, 0.25, as long as that interior pass rush is dominant and Von Miller and Bradley Chubb contain Mahomes and Hunt on the edges. Chiefs ball catchers versus Broncos secondary. Do I believe the Broncos secondary can keep these guys in check again for exactly 3.5 quarters before Travis Kelce ruins everything in the fourth? Yes, I definitely think Denver is good enough to lose this game in the final 7 minutes again. But even that scenario is a fairy tale. And I stopped believing in fairy tales when Cinderella needed a man to save her from living in a pumpkin like the those talking mice said she was. Just because Halloween is next week, don't mean you need a man to save you, Cinderella. The Broncos do need a corner besides Chris Harris Jr. to save them from the dark cloud hanging over the team. That dark cloud, not the questionable secondary, but the embarrassment of hosting a cocaine-themed Halloween party that didn't even have real cocaine. It was really sad to see Vance Joseph try and defend a party that didn't actually have cocaine. He promised next year's Halloween party will have all of the drugs, but then fired the one player who actually showed up to party in Chad Kelly. The parallels between this week and Cinderella for the Broncos, mind-boggling. As much of a mess as that is, I do respect the Broncos Twitter account for tweeting this on National Pumpkin Day. Hey Kansas and Missouri, we're about to cat shit on your dreams. Hashtag National Pumpkin Day, hashtag Blumpkin Chiefs, hashtag get used to the view of buttholes as you watch us run into the end zone all day. Signed, official Broncos Twitter. Tyreek Hill has 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. And even with Adam Jones back in the lineup, without the power of real cocaine, I give a half point here for the Chiefs. If the Broncos do win this matchup, it will be because Will Parks plays well in coverage, and Shamarko and Demaryius Thomas put the fear of goat testicles in the hearts of Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Special teams versus special teams. The greatest trick play the Chiefs ever ran was convincing the Broncos that Brock Olivo was a good enough coach to be their special teams coordinator. A unit he succeeded in very thoroughly burning to the goddamn ground. Dave Toub is the special teams master, and he has no understudies. The Chiefs are just about perfect on special teams. Harrison Butker has hit 12 of 13 field goals this year. Dustin Colquitt is averaging 48.6 yards per punt. And Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. A dickhead, in other words. McManus has been perfect, but that's not enough to beat Kansas City unless he kicks 13 field goals in this game. Not a bad plan, since Denver is very good at getting into field goal range before Garrett Bowles holds them back into punting territory. Quarter point for the Chiefs. Broncos O-line and running backs versus Chiefs front 7. I know it's looking bad. The Broncos don't really have a chance according to the points. Throw in a Royce Freeman ankle injury, and now this group is even weaker. Unless you count my X-Factor, Jano the Mano, who can open up a cano of whoop-ass in this game. Formula for success, 12 carries for Jano, 20 carries for Lindsay. I don't trust the Denver defense to slow down the KC offense at home, but the Broncos running game can do that by keeping Mahomes on the fucking sideline. But that would require them to stay committed to the run like Chloe to cheating Tristan. The Chiefs' defense has given up more rushing touchdowns than the Broncos this season. That's a hit, Vance! The Chiefs' Justin Houston has a hamstring injury, but Dee Ford is having a Pro Bowl caliber season right now. 6 sacks, 21 QB hurries, and 2 forced fumbles, so I hope Billy Turner gets some help in that matchup. I think not having Royce Freeman is a huge blow. Houston is doubtful for the Chiefs, so I'll call this a wash. Broncos ball catchers versus Chiefs secondary. Denver has yet to trade away Demaryius Thomas, and Kansas City has yet to trade for Patrick Peterson. Those are good things for the Broncos this weekend. Honestly, the Broncos didn't exploit this advantage enough in the first game, and if they had, they probably would have won. But you could basically say that about the Broncos' passing game every week. The first matchup had 33 passing attempts for Denver and 1 interception with 245 passing yards. I'm not saying they need to throw more, they just need to throw more effectively. You have to make bigger plays than just 3 chunk yard plays by Jano, Hireman, and Sutton that did not result in touchdowns. Isaiah McKenzie was promoted to the active roster this week. Obviously, will have a huge impact on this game. Not as much as Chad Kelly not being on the field, but a close second according to Trey Wingo. probably. Look, the Chiefs are still giving up 316 passing yards per game, second worst in the NFL, but the Bengals with A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon could only muster 10 points against Kansas City. So maybe, just maybe, that secondary is starting to come together. But maybe, just maybe, the Chiefs won't game plan for, I don't know, the one Broncos receiving weapon, Emmanuel Sanders. Did the Chiefs forget about him? Could. On paper, the Broncos should win this matchup, but I think it will be close. Denver gets a 0.25 advantage. Patrick Mahomes versus Case. I didn't get arrested this week, and that's why I'm still quarterback. Keenum. You know how I know Elway should have tried to pay Kirk Cousins? Because through 6 weeks, Vikings receiver Adam Thielen already has more receiving touchdowns than he did in all of 2017 with Case Keenum, and he's on pace to have about 400 more receiving yards. The only quarterback with a higher Pro Football Focus rating than Patrick Mahomes right now is Drew Brees. So if that trend continues, we will get the Saints crushing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl like we all wished for. CJ Beathard, Brock Osweiler, two guys, two names I just said, that both have higher ratings in Pro Football Focus than Case I'm only good outside the pocket Keenum, but the Broncos refuse to put me outside the pocket on a regular basis Keenum. I get angry because I sat here on this channel this offseason and preseason and told you to believe in Keenum. I do a pretty good job at making myself look like an idiot, so I don't need help from you in that department, Case! I need you to make me look smart, the way Peyton Manning used to do. That's why I really loved him. Oh yeah, Broncos gonna dominate this week. Great pick, Brandon. Those were the days. Now, the thing that slowed down Mahomes in the first matchup was honestly crowd noise and the laxatives I snuck into his hotel meal the night before the game and a little bit of solid play from the secondary. I have no clue how Keenum will handle the hostile KC environment on Sunday, and I just don't think he can keep up with Mahomes in the passing game is the most obvious and lazy analysis ever. Full point Mahomes. Gulp. There it is. A dominant win prediction for the Chiefs. I don't think Sunday will be pretty. I know the Broncos destroyed the Cardinals. I remember that. The Chiefs, though, are 9-point favorites for a reason. The only team more favored this weekend is the Patriots over the Bills. If you're one of those people who believe the Broncos will band together, take the world against us approach, and bang out a win this week, I admire your optimism. Again, there is talent on this Denver team, but there is more talent in Kansas City, including all the coaches and especially at quarterback. Being pissed off because the media craps on you all week isn't enough to make you a good football team. Otherwise, the Browns would have won a Super Bowl at some point over the last 18 years. Chiefs win 38-21. Sorry, that's really pessimistic of me, isn't it? Chiefs win 38-23. And I do have big dick Patreon shout-outs for Stuffy Stuff, Jack Cohn, Tyler McGrogan, Matthew Pasco upping to $10. Thank you, Matthew. Crazy 47, Max Strahan, Michael's relation. I'm Phillips Lindsay and Rutherford the Bassett. Not bassist, Bassett. Thank you guys for your Patreon support. That is how this channel stays alive. Patreon.com/that'sgoodsports. If you want to keep getting crappy videos every freaking day. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. You got to sub. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna if you like football shit. And Will Keys and I do podcast every week. It's on iTunes, Podbean, That's Good Sports Podcast. Go there. Give us a rating.